Coach, we had a little segment yesterday about the old school football helmets, which I wore.
And you look.
And thank you, sir. And your name, as it always tends to do, came up when we were talking to the coach about some of the old gear because you are wise. No. Wise. So everybody says when it comes to some of the history of football, in fact, Faulkner said something really nice. He said, you know more about football than most of us would ever, you've probably forgotten more about football than most of us will ever know because you've been around the game for so many, many years. By the way, what was your first year coaching?
Well, I'm trying to think. This is season 44 for me.
So a long time. And did you play football?
I did.
Okay. What type of helmets? Because there's been several different types of helmets because they had the ones without face masks too that were popular.
Correct. I actually didn't play in those. Some people think I did, but I did not. But
well, these were still being used. Was it the 50s?
Yeah, probably. But when they, like I told you yesterday, when they used those, it was a different style of game. You know, it wasn't the collision sport that it is now. And when I started playing, you had this similar to this type of helmet, but you only had two bars across there. And
the inside of the helmet technology has changed drastically.
The inside of the helmet now has all of the padding, but it's hard to describe. But when I played, there was like they called it suspension helmets. And it had like a rope type thing in here, and then it had a rubber pad at the top. And so when you hit, it kind of expanded that around your head for protection. And I remember one time in college, I didn't know that the little blue rubber thing was supposed to be in there, and I scrimmaged all day without that little rubber top in my head, and I came in and I started having headaches, and I said, man, my head hurts. And one of the guys, because I had a padded helmet in high school, it's hard to believe that I had a better helmet in high school than I did in college, but they gave us freshmen just the old stuff. And I came in and they said, dummy, you're supposed to have one of those blue things in there. And so that helped. But then I guess the more I played, the better helmet I got. So but no, it has come a long way, and obviously with the concussion issues big time now, and the studies they've done of players that played, and the helmets now are really nice, and a lot of liability.
They don't know how good they have it now.
Oh, heck no. And back even when I played, you just got your bell rung and you got up and got back in there, and that answers a lot of questions about me. But I'm one at 65 years old now, 2 knee replacements, hip replacement, shoulder, 4 anchors in my shoulder, so plus 44 years on the football field. So a lot of wear and tear on your body. But that's why you see in ball games now the big issue with targeting.
It has become like a huge ordeal, and maybe this season even more than last. It's like 3 or 4 targeting calls every game.
Exactly, and they're trying to. Matter of fact, the way you teach tackling now has changed. You used to lead with your helmet and try to get your head across the body. Now we teach tackling. It's a rugby style tackling where you go for the near hip and try to wrap up the legs. And what happens there is when you miss tackles, the hip turns into the ankles and then you miss tackles.
Right.
But we're doing a lot now to try to take the head out of the game as much as possible.
Almost going back to this style then.
Exactly.
So tell us, you told me, but the audience may not have understood. You said the game has changed, the speed has changed, and the style of tackling. What did they used to do with this?
Well, it was more of a rugby style. It would be more like if anybody's ever gone out in the backyard and played tackle football without any pads on.
You're not aiming for heads because you don't have a good helmet.
Exactly. That's what it would be like. And plus, you know, back when they played football like that, there was, you know, they didn't train year-round like athletes do now. And, you know,
mentioned the athlete was different at that time too.
Exactly. You know, and like I told you yesterday, back then, you know, it may be a contact of, say, two cars hitting it, you know, 30 miles an hour. Now would be two cars hitting it about 80 miles an hour. And just the strength, the conditioning, the power these athletes have, the year-round weight training, nutrition, you name it. Supplements, they got it. I mean, they are you know, powerful, you know, and so that's what's, you know, back even when I played high school football, we never lifted weights in the off season. When I played college football, you know, we didn't lift, you know, we went home in the summer and worked, you know, and then came back 1st of August for like 3 weeks of camp and got in shape and played. You know, now, like guys like Nakobe Dean and Josiah Hayes and Radar and all, I mean, they're there all summer. You know, they're on a year-round program as far as working out, nutrition, sleep, and, you know, supplements. I'm talking about legal supplements. And so it's a whole lot of difference in what you're dealing with. And man, you take it to the NFL level, and you know, they have guys, some of the guys, I know Eddie George, who used to play at his own chef that followed him, and he ate at a certain time. He ate the right things at a certain time that would give him more energy throughout the course of the ball game. And so they've got it down to a science.
365 days a year now.
Exactly. And I was at Georgia Tech before I came back to DeSoto County, and I mean, you know, you go in the weight room and you lift, and they've got a nutrition bar in there for shakes and fruits. And then we had a nutrition center that was open from 6 in the morning till 12 at night, you know, where they go by and get supplements and grapes and, you know, you name it, you know. And so all about, you know, the body and being as fit as you can to play the game.